Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 16th to the 22nd of February 2015. Now we have a lot of movement this week. We're moving with some planets from Aquarius into Pisces and then some Pisces into Aries. So we're really spanning the springtime era during this week. So to begin, we're coming out of the Mercury retrograde. So by Tuesday we're out of the shadow. They call it the Mercury retrograde shadow. And we can really start to put into action some of the things we've learnt over that phase. So Mercury retrograde is coming to a close, not just yet, but we'll start to see the reason for it and actually apply the different way that we're thinking and manifesting as a result. We're also coming out of the Valentine's Day shenanigans, so that's a calendar day in Aquarius, which is all to do with that unconditional love of the Aquarian way. So we're coming out of the weekend with Valentine's Day, and we're coming out of the Mercury retrograde shadow, and the Sun is in the last few days of Aquarius. So we're really summing up all that Aquarian energy, how we think, what thought forms we tune into, how we can change the way that we think to create a different world, and how we can change love and the way that we're sold it so that we can actually create a more loving environment for ourselves, starting within, starting with ourselves, and then manifesting on the outside as more soul level relationships. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got the last few days of Aquarius. Things are coming to recognition. We're wiser, we're seeing the bigger picture, and we are recalibrating ourselves so that we can actually start living from a higher place. We also have a new moon in Aquarius on Wednesday, so the Sun moves into Pisces at the same time as the final new moon in Aquarius. So this is a bit of a complicated one. We had a new moon in Aquarius at the end of January, and we've got another new moon in Aquarius on Wednesday, and that's because the lunar calendar, there's actually 13 moons in a year, so it doesn't correlate with a 12-month Gregorian calendar, so we can actually have two new moons or two full moons falling within the same calendar month. So it's the Chinese New Year and the new moon in Aquarius, but just before that happens the Sun has gone into Pisces, so we've got a curious blend here. The Sun going into Pisces is more soulful. We're in the last sign of the zodiac now. We're into the deep waters and the ether, and the auric magnetic electro fields around the body are all going to be lit up in the next month as we start to really bring the year to a close, but go deeper, having learnt everything from the last solar cycle. But to have a new moon in Aquarius there, that means that the intentions and the new energy that we're bringing in will be coming from a very deep level. This isn't just some fly-by-night thing. This will be setting new intentions on the Chinese New Year, the second new moon in Aquarius, but from a place of Piscean soul and value and intuition as well. So see if you can go deep on Wednesday and set those intentions for the next 2 weeks from somewhere that really matters. Maybe have a look over the last year at what's really mattered and what really drives you, what gives you goosebumps and tingles, what actually excites you, and what your soul came here to do. Because that new moon in Aquarius will be an electric activation of that level of being. So a beautiful window opening up there. By Thursday, Neptune joins the Sun and the Moon as well. So we've got a triple element now because the Moon's moved into Pisces. So we have the Sun, Neptune and the Moon all in Pisces, tripling that frequency and the soul, spirit, consciousness alignment. So we get even deeper by Thursday, and because we can take our time to set intentions, this is actually reinforcing that need to take our time to go deep and to start to create from a place of truth and honesty. It's very evocative, it's very soulful, it's very meaningful, but it should be fairly effortless because you're dealing with the cells of the body, so whatever actually resonates with you on the deepest level is what you can put your attention to and energize at this time. By Friday we've got a different energy because Venus and Mars have been in Pisces. They're at the last couple of degrees before they step over at the weekend into Aries, so we're right at the end of the zodiac here. And this one's particularly interesting because Venus and Mars being together at the last degrees of Pisces really says sum everything up now, really says get to the point of everything that's gone on in the last year. Now if Venus is our love and value and Mars is our soul force energy directed, our dynamism and our passion, Pisces tends to need a bit of a cleanse. It needs some recognition, some allowance, some surrender and some release at the last couple of degrees to let go before we step up and over the threshold. So basically in astrology we don't go round and round in circles, we go round to certain significant dates, and then by releasing and allowing and clearing the space and holding gratitude and purity, that's what leaves us lighter in order to be able to lift up and actually turn this into a spiral, an expanding spiral kind of life rather than round and round. So Friday sees a day when we can actually have a look at everything we're holding on to, any guilt or shame or friction or regret or frustration, that divine mix of the masculine and feminine there, and what we can actually let go of, what we can say, well, this doesn't need to come forwards. I don't need to learn this lesson again because I've got the point of it. So let me cleanse myself, rinse myself off, feel lighter and brighter as a result, and then step over the threshold at the weekend into a whole new cycle as Venus and Mars enter Aries. So this feels like a week when spring is springing. This feels like we go from the clogginess of Valentine's Day and coming out of that retrograde shadow, things start to become clearer. We go into the invocative waters of Pisces in the middle to set true intentions and energize them. But by the end of the week, we're actually letting go on a personality story level of anything that we've been hanging on to so that we can step over the Aries threshold, bright and bouncy. So a bit of a triple effect going on this week. Lots to be done, lots of changes, but it should all be coming from your insides. It should all be intuitive and feel right, so we can really trust our intuition this week and really release anything that's made us feel bad, but by getting the message of it so that we don't have to repeat that again. So very energized, 3 signs at play from Aquarius to Pisces to Aries. We're bouncing into spring now to make a whole new start at the weekend. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. This really is a wonderful time for you to engage with a deeper knowledge of astrology for yourself. So whether that's learning more about your own chart and how you can work with it via a reading, or actually starting to learn the concepts of astrology and how to apply it on a wider scale through one of my courses, I do have many tools here to help you be able to learn astrology intuitively rather than from a book or from a computer. And this is a wonderful time as we pass through these spring months. Aquarius is the sign that's best aligned to astrology, and everybody has Aquarius in their chart somewhere. And then as everything starts to step over the threshold of Aries in the next month and start a new cycle, that's where the zodiac begins. So when we're learning astrology, it's really good to walk with each sign, walk through a year. So as the sun goes through each sign, tune in and feel those energies, see what's happening in nature and feel the collective field around, meet the birthday people and talk to them. So I really do recommend learning astrology on an intuitive level, taking your time, walking maybe for a whole year just so that you can live each sign, you can reconnect, because this is a knowledge you already have and you're waking up to. But if you are interested in any of that, then I do have some online courses. They're very easy to follow along with videos and some notes, and they're well priced, and I am available by email for questions and answers afterwards. So if you feel like taking on a new course of study, if you feel like engaging with these springtime energies, then please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.